Control E. Your microphone is on. Control E. Your camera is on.
Madam, namaskar. This is Dr. Bimal Nanda, Deputy Director from IGNOU Bhubaneswar.
मैम कितने स्टार्ट करा जीवो
Dear students, we'll start after 5 minutes because we want some more students to join. So please wait for 5 minutes more.
କଣ କହିଲା?
Control E. Control E.
কেমন গুগল মিট খুলুন।
Control E. Control E. Google Meet. Google Meet. Control E. Blank. Alert. No camera time. Alert. This. Context menu to navigate. Press up or down arrow. Leaving menus. Meet dash med 0. Meet dash webinar. Alert. Flip. Control E. B.C. Canvas as in. There are no edit boxes on this page. Here.
Hello.
Sir, is someone saying something?
मैम नमस्कार मैम ମୁଁ ତପସ୍ୱିନୀ ଦଳେ କହୁଥିଲି ଯେ କି ମ୍ୟାମ୍ ମୋର ଷ୍ଟଡି ସେଣ୍ଟର ହେଲା
Yes, ma'am.
କିଟରେ ମୋର ଆସେସମେଣ୍ଟ ଡିପୋଜିଟ୍ ବି ସେଇଠି ହବ?
Good afternoon, all of you. So we start the session today. Respected resource person of the day and our keynote speaker, Jhansi Lakshmi Ji ma'am, my dearest learners, my esteemed colleagues from the Regional Center, Additional Director Dr. S.K. Panigrahi sir, Deputy Director Dr. Prabhat Kumar Jana sir, my esteemed colleagues from the Regional Center, from other regional centers and from across the study centers in Odisha. Very good afternoon to all of you. As you know, innovation is not only a product, it's a process, it's an ongoing process which involves difficulties we face in life, which involves our thought process to overcome those difficulties and deprivations. And in the meanwhile, what we call innovation becomes a process as well as a product. It's a process which helps us in problem solving, and it's a product which is the end product of the confusion that we have faced during the initial phase of a problem and at the end solution that we get. So innovation is both a process as well as a product. But what is important in this process of innovation
Meet dash webinar.
is that there is somebody involved as an entrepreneur. And an entrepreneur is a person who is very adept at facing difficulties in life, whether it is the difficulties he or she faces as a human being in family matters, in social matters, or whether he faces the difficulties as an entrepreneur or an industrialist. So what is involved in all this process is the factor of novelty. And novelty does not come unless there is a problem. And the problem cannot be solved unless we find a novel way, an innovative way, and some divergent thinking to overcome those crises. So basically, an entrepreneur is a person who is riddled with problems and who has the will to power to overcome those problems. So today we have with us an expert who is an electrical and electronics engineering graduate. She is a human being who has traversed 30 years of life, giving to the society her knowledge and wisdom both as an engineer and as a problem-solving thinker. So it's a fortune to have you as our research person, ma'am, with us today. And I welcome you to this session. And I am quite hopeful that your thought-provoking talk today will ignite our young minds today who are sitting here and inspire them to face problem head-on rather than avoiding them. because there is high quality of an entrepreneur. An entrepreneur faces the problem head on rather than avoiding it. So I am quite optimistic that our participants will uh, get inspired to face all problems in life after listening to you today. So with this, I welcome you, ma'am, to this August gathering, and I dear students, I also welcome you all to this August gathering. I welcome my colleagues, Dr. S. K. Panigrai sir, Dr. Prabhat Kumar Jana sir, and colleagues from across the regional centers in India, colleagues from across the study centers in Odisha, and all other our esteemed participants. So very good afternoon to all of you once again, and I welcome you all to this August gathering. With this, I request my colleague Dr. Prabhat Kumar Jana to kindly give a brief introduction regarding our today's research person, Jhansi Lakshmi ji ma'am. Over to you, Prabhat sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Am I audible? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, you are
Okay,
audible.
namaste, madam. Honorable expert of this meeting, Dr. Jhansi Lakshmi ji, respected Additional Director Dr. S. K. Panigrai, sir, and Dr. V.C. Nanda, Deputy Director, sir, respected other dignitaries, my dear colleagues and friends, dear learners. So we are very much happy to invite Madam, and who is very expert in this field. So before starting of this meeting, let me just briefly introduce her. Madam Jhansi Lakshmi ji, she is an electrical and electronic engineering graduate and a BE certified energy auditor with 30 plus years of experience in the field of government advisory, startup ecosystem, enablement, improvement, entrepreneurship, and she has been designing an electrical distribution and lighting system. Okay, and she has been designing green building certificate process, energy audits, healthcare and service, etc. She has been a serial entrepreneur since last 15 years as a co-founder and full-time CEO of Green Arc Enersol Private Limited and a partner director of Sugan Automatic Private Limited. Prior to her entrepreneur journey, she had worked as Visakhapatnam Steel Plant as a design engineer, inspection engineer, deputy manager, marketing, and a faculty in various engineering and technology institutions. She has been one of the 4 team members of the IGBC Green Homes Rating System. She are trained and certified by GA in the advanced Japanese methodology of energy conservation and management technologies and online condition monitoring of industrial equipment and machineries. She has also worked as a CEO of a primary healthcare company on remote patient monitoring. She has also worked as a director technical in AIC ALEAP of identifying and nurturing the different agnostic startups. She has also played a crucial role in evaluating, shortlisting, and implementing the government funding. She is very passionate about monitoring students, women, and aspiring entrepreneurs. She is presently employed as a senior manager with Ernst & Young, deputed as a startup and incubation expert consultant for Startup Odisha, a state startup mission of Government of Odisha, and played a crucial role in strengthening the startup ecosystem. He has also played a crucial role in drafting policies for Startup Odisha and OHUB, curating and conducting pre-incubation and incubation programs, a member of evaluating committee of monthly allowance grants and evaluating UCs. She has also played an important role in bringing cooperative engagements, accumulating into MOUs, and introducing corporate innovations programs in Startup Odisha with the Hero of Startups. She is presently a national member of IIC, Bardhaman Engineering College, mentor of few startups, mentor of WNURS Forum, a virtual women incubation center, and a gold judge of Technovation Girls, a US-based NGO running global programs from the age 8 to 18, who became tech entrepreneur and leadership. So, Madam has very much experience and is widely popular throughout Odisha and India also. So, we are very much lucky to get this opportunity to listen something from her. So, I welcome you, Madam, and we are very much thankful to you for accepting our invitation. So, thank you, Madam, and I wish you all the best. Okay, now over to you. Sir, over to you. Sir.
Thank you, Dr. Prabhat, for giving a brief introduction of our today's esteemed resource person, ma'am. May I now request my colleague, Dr. S.K. Panigrahi, Additional Director, to kindly address the participants and welcome all the participants and the resource person. Over to you, Panigrahi, sir.
Microphone is on.
Namaskar. I welcome my dear colleagues and today's resource person, Jhansi Lakshmi ji ma'am, and my dear learners. We are organizing the series of webinar for our students to enlighten them and enrich the different knowledge to our students. So in the innovation, startup and entrepreneurships, so we are inviting our students and our learners to learn something. What is innovation? What is entrepreneur? And how the startup setup will done. So ma'am is vast experience in this startup sector. So my colleague has elaborated all these things about the ma'am. So the today's topics unleashing entrepreneurs within. So how one new person or the students, how they can develop a startup in India and particularly in Odisha, because in nowadays our country, they are just promoting the more and more number of startups can create, and how the newcomers, the young generation can make the startup in our country. So the more production or the new kind of innovation kind of things happen in our country. So this is the one kind of platform we are giving to our learners, because the government of India wants that the younger generation should come up with the new kind of things, because they have a new brain, the young brains, they have a new ideas. The ideas should float to a different kinds of personality. So in that way, the whatever the innovative kind of mindset or the entrepreneurial, kind of personality, and how they can become independently, they can do a lot of things. So this is the main motto behind that. So in that series, the Indira Gandhi National Open University, Regional Center Bhubaneswar, also organized this kind of webinar to our learners, so they can learn lot of things from our experts. And this Regional Center Bhubaneswar particularly, so always do innovative kind of things for our learners, for our students. So with these words, once again, I welcome to my learners and my resource person today. So thank you very much, ma'am. With this short notice, you accepted our invitation. And now I request Jhansi ma'am ji to address our learners. Over to VC Nandu sir.
Thank you, Dr. Panigrahi, for your warm welcome to our participants, our research person, ma'am. And thank you for your insightful address. May I now take the privilege of inviting to our today's resource person, Jhansi Lakshmi ji ma'am, to kindly give our deliberation on unleashing the entrepreneurship within. Thank you, ma'am, and over to you. Ma'am, kindly unmute yourself.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you very much, sir. Dr. Prabhat Kumar ji, Dr. B.C. Nanda, and Dr. S.K. Panigrahi, sir, for giving me this opportunity to share my knowledge, whatever little knowledge I have on entrepreneurship and innovation with your students, because as you mentioned, the young minds, they have a different way of thinking. They have the out of box thinking, and they can definitely come up with many new innovations in terms of products and services. So, sir, if you allow me to share my screen, I think I can start the presentation. Excuse me, sir.
Yes, ma'am. We are just removing our presentation and we'll switch
Yes,
over.
yes. Thank you. I think it's not yet enabled, sir, to share my screen.
Are you able to present or not?
Ma'am,
No, sir. I'm not able to share my screen, sir.
now you have removed, ma'am. You please try.
And I think you should allow me to share my screen, sir.
Okay, okay. I'm telling the admin, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
Control D, your microphone.
I think it's open, ma'am. You can share, ma'am. It's not required to allow us from outside.
I'm not able to share, sir.
Madam, we can share. If you click on the share button, it will be showing.
Yeah, I'm doing that only, sir, but it's not allowing me to.
That is not enabled.
No, not enable,
I
sir.
think. Yeah. So we are getting that. Okay. Let me check.
So by the time the screen sharing is enabled, so I would like to just talk a little bit about today's topic, that is unleashing the entrepreneur within. So I think all of us, we have an entrepreneur built in within ourselves. So how we can, unleash that potential inside us, and then how we can build a startup, starting from idea till scaling up, is what I'm going to share with you all in very simple language, with some very simple examples. And anytime if you have any doubts or questions, you can please put them on the chat so that we can address them at the end of the session. So still it is not enabled, sir. Hello. Hello. Yeah. So are you able to see my screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah. So this is the topic for today, unleashing the entrepreneur within. So why I'm saying that, we all have an entrepreneur within ourselves. Let me just take you back to your childhood times. So when we were children, what we did when we have come across a hurdle like this? Did we stop there and not move forward? No. What we did was we either jumped over it or we have crawled from beneath it. And there could be some people who can just take a route beside that and go forward. And also, when we were walking in the rain, we could see a pool of mud water at one place. And we could always, that didn't stop us. So we either jumped over it, or if we were naughty kids, we used to jump into it and play with the muddy waters. So we used to enjoy. So what does this tell about us? We used to find solutions whenever we came across any kind of a problem. So I hope my screen is visible and all the changes are happening.
Yes, now it's visible.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, sir. So we used to, whenever we came across any challenge or a problem, we were finding solutions for ourselves in different ways. So let us take another example. When we were growing up as toddlers, and when we start trying to stand up and take a walk, learn to walk, many times we would fall down and start crying. So did we stop there? No. We tried, and tried till we were able to walk and we were happy. So what does this tell us about? The resilience we had. It means we never stop because we are facing a lot of difficulties in reaching our goal, that is walking. We still were pursuing. So we had that perseverance or resilience in us to overcome the situations and have the patience to do it. We used to walk, fall down, yet get up and then again walk till we were confidently doing that. The third example I would take is we used to play a lot of games and sports as kids. And we used to do a lot of activities indoors. Either it could be indoor games or some kind of skilling games or activities we were doing. And whenever we were walking, we were, climbing a stair, someone falls behind, we were always extending our hand to help them and to pull them along with us up the stairs. So what are these qualities which are there within us? It's nothing but leadership. We were planning for playing any game, we need a planning and decision making. So when we are doing some activities and we need to, let us, for example, take a chess. So which coin we should move? What is the next move? We make a decision and we had a discipline. So if we going out to play some game, we have to get up early in the morning. We have to keep ourselves fit. We have to take good food, everything. And there's a lot of hard work which we were again taking to excel or do well in these games and sports. And while doing all these things, we used to communicate with each other whenever particularly we were doing any games which involved a team or we are playing in doubles, then we definitely have to have a coordination with our team members. So we have to communicate very clearly with them what they would do and what we would do. So all these things we were doing since our childhood. Why I'm saying that is because when you look at the personality traits of an entrepreneur, it says patience, self-motivation, discipline, hard work, and ability to lead. So all these things we have seen that we were doing them since our childhood. That is why I'm saying that we all have an entrepreneur inside us. Only thing is we need to take the steps to bring them out. Unleashing is just relieving from the leash or the thread which is holding us. So first, before going ahead with entrepreneurship, let us first understand what is the difference between a businessman and an entrepreneur. So when you look at a businessman, what he does is he gets into something which is already existing in the market. Whereas an entrepreneur, they bring something very new into the market, innovative ideas. So for example, let us take that a restaurant. So a businessman would always start a restaurant. So we already have many restaurants in the state or cities or across India, right? For a businessman, if I'm a businessman, I can always start a similar kind of a restaurant. Maybe I'll just put some good interiors and increase the quality of the food which I'm delivering. Whereas if I am an entrepreneur, what innovative idea can I bring is maybe I will start only a healthy restaurant. I don't serve anything which is regularly, served in other restaurants. I only serve millets or oats or quinoa based, which are very healthy in nature, salads. So that is the innovative idea which I am bringing in. So it is also a restaurant, but something different from what is existing in the market. And then a businessman doesn't take much of a risk because he's more focused on how to set up a restaurant. And then my focus would be more on how can I get more business than the other restaurant in the same lane. So providing a quality food or increasing the ambience, improving the ambience where people are attracted to come to my place, sit and spend some time and eat some good food. Whereas an entrepreneur is someone who is taking a risk there by bringing in entirely a new set of plate. So when I'm serving only something which is relevant to quinoa or millets or anything, what would be my number of people coming to my restaurant? It could be very low. How many people who are very health conscious? Only those people would come to my restaurant. But still, I'm ready to take that risk. And the businessman always follows a traditional and tested approach. So see, he could bring in a change in terms of the interiors or the plate in which I'm serving, the cutlery which I'm using, right? But generally, I will not go beyond the regular items which everyone is serving, because those are all proven. A lot of people would come to my restaurant because they like biryanis or they like cutlets, something like that. Whereas as an entrepreneur, I am doing everything which is innovative. I'm making a salad which is very good for my heart. I'm doing something, I'm creating a dish out of quinoa, which is very low in carbs and more in fiber. So I'm using very innovative methods in the same restaurant field. So entrepreneurship is trying to come up with innovative ideas while I'm taking risk in bringing those innovative ideas And also I'll be using very out of the box activities and methodologies in taking it forward. So now, what is innovative idea? The next question comes is, what is innovation or what is an innovative idea? What is innovation? So innovation in a general definition, which is called as something which is not existing in the market. It could be a product or a service which is not in the market right now, or it could be an improvement of an existing product or a service. So any kind of improvement. So for example, let us take the mobiles. Initially, when a mobile came into the market, it was used only for communication. We never had a camera in that. Right? We didn't have any of these apps in that. It was only used own existence by adding more and more value to that calling facility. So every feature which they're adding to this is a new innovation. And where does this innovation come from? What is the driving force for any kind of innovation? It is a problem, right? So what is a problem? Just some kind of comfort. It does not allow us to be happy. It causes some kind of an anxiety, or it affects the environment or people. And finding a solution for that is an innovation. So now, when we talk about problem, how do we define a problem? So for this, people have created something called as a problem tree for us to understand and analyze and how to come up with a definition for a problem. So if you look at a problem, this is the basic trunk of the tree, which is above the ground and below the branches. So this is the main problem which we are trying to address. Okay. So this is the problem which we have identified. First is identification of the problem. So we have identified this problem. Next, what do? We should analyze the problem. How do we analyze the problem? We first have to go deep down, try to identify what is the main root cause for that problem. Where is this problem coming from? And then it is, what is the problem position or who is causing it? So once we identify the root cause and who is causing it, then next we go to the effects of the problem, which would be all the branches. So when we are trying to analyze the effects of a problem, the first thing we need to do is empathize. So people, when we talk about, someone is in pain, there are two ways we get involved there. One is sympathy, one is empathy. What is sympathy? Sympathy is just saying that, oh, poor guy, he's going through so much of problem. Empathy is trying to place ourselves in their shoes. If someone is having a bad headache, you can always say, where are you getting this headache? Is it on the one side or is it across your face, across your forehead, or just, in your temple area? So we try to identify and then we try to say that, why don't you apply something over there? So we are there trying to keep ourselves in his place and try to feel that pain and give him a solution. So whenever we are trying to analyze the effects of a problem, we should empathize with that people or the parties who are being affected by that. So what are the effects on the people or on the environment or on the society? And then who are the people getting affected? And then what is the effect of these problem on the society at large? Identify a problem, then analyze the problem, the root cause and who is causing it, and then try to empathize and then define the problem. Okay, so this is the problem. And so let us, for example, take the waste. Today, if we see everywhere, we can see the waste. It is just look around us. We'll find many problems around us. So the biggest problem we see is the garbage being thrown everywhere. So who is causing this problem? We ourselves. We are throwing the waste. We find a paper, we are driving, we are going in a car, we just lower our window glass and then throw it outside. And whatever garbage we are generating at homes, we are putting it into the municipality truck which is coming, and then that is taking and then dumping it elsewhere in a common place where all the waste is dumped, all the garbage collected from everywhere is dumped. So this is the main root cause. And then what are the effects of this? Our roads are totally unclean. We are throwing plastic everywhere. The oceans are getting, totally disturbed. The animals are getting affected. Humans are getting affected. The society, the environment is getting affected. A lot of unwanted and harmful gases are being emitted from that. So this is how you need to first analyze a problem and then define it. Okay, so this is the problem and these are the people who are, this is the root cause and these are the effects of it. And then you go for identifying a team. See, individually we can also think, okay, I can say that, because being one of the contributors to this waste, I can, segregate my waste at home, and then I will not throw the garbage out of my car or outside when I'm traveling anywhere. I will collect it. I'll have a cover inside my car and then, put all the waste into that. Right. But then for me to find a complete solution for the problem, so that, my idea or the product or a service which I'm bringing in here can address all the effects that problem is causing. So for this, alone I can do only a part of it. But if I have a team, I can do better, because a team always helps you in pooling the ideas, getting many ideas. Because when we look at example, we just look at nature. The perspective you get might be different and the perspective I get is a different, because each one of us have a different way of looking at things. So that is where when we have a team, we can get more ideas. It is easier to, find out problems, and we can strategize our moves, what to do next. And then we collectively work together to come with a solution. So this will help us to efficiently work, and we can develop the solutions also in a faster way and speed up. So a team is very, very important when you are trying to get into a startup or an entrepreneurship. So next is idea. So we have identified the problem. Next, we have a team. So now we are trying to ideate, come up with a solution, an idea which can solve the problem which we have identified. So here, if you look at the circle, we already have identified the problem. So now what we have to do is we have to be very creative in coming up with a solution. So what we do is we generate ideas. So what could be the ideas? So we already see that, even the government is insisting that we need to have two different garbage collection bins in our home. One would be for a solid waste, that is wet waste, organic waste, and the other one would be for a dry waste. Right. So this is one of the ideas. And then when even the collectors who are coming to collect this garbage, they also need to have that segregation. Right. And then once this, where do we send this waste to? Again to the dump yard to increase the garbage? No. What can we do with that? So we come up with the ideas. And once we have some collective ideas, so we have a team of 3 members, let us say. So each one of us, we come up with some idea. Then what we do? We sit, we try to explain, okay, this is what I think, this is what I think. And then we collectively put in our perspectives. Okay, you are saying this can be done, but why can't we do like this? Or why can't we add this also so that we can have a better solution? So we need to evaluate the ideas and then select the right idea, which all 3 of us would collectively think will be addressing the problem in all directions. So this ideation again is a process. So whatever we are discussing here, problem, there is a process there. Just not identifying a problem. You cannot jump immediately. The moment you identify a problem, you just can't jump at it. You need to go through the process of analysis and defining the problem. And then again, as a team, we all have to collectively come to a conclusion of the idea which we are going to bring into life. And most of the things, what happens is, most of the startups fail because they don't do a proper market research. The moment they find an idea, they just jump at it, try to develop a product. Okay, this garbage, what I can do is I can just collect all the plastic. I will just go and I will convert it into something useful. Okay. So if I'm thinking like that, is there a market for me, first of all? Whatever I'm trying to develop, that product, does it have a market need or a potential? So here, that is why we always tell the startups, key, you first do a market research once you get an idea. Because most of the people, what they do is the moment they get an idea, they get into production and then they start identifying where can I sell my product. So they don't have a proper planning. Whether that product is required in the market or not, they have no idea. So that is why before you jump into developing a product, you first do a market research. And what is this market research you need to do? One is first understand TAM, SAM, and SOM. This is very, very critical because what is TAM? TAM is a total available market in whichever area you are targeting. If you are targeting only India, okay. In India, what is the need for my product? And then SAM, serviceable addressable market. That means if the total market is this much, out of that, how much can this product service? It may not be able to service the whole market because of certain constraints. So what is a serviceable addressable market? SAM. And then again, you further narrow it down to serviceable obtainable market. So if the serviceable addressable market is say some 100 crores. Out of that, how much can I really obtain? How can I really penetrate into the market? And how much of this 100 crores can I really make? Can I sell? So it could be 10 crores. These are all example figures I'm mentioning. So any product or service, when you're trying to get into it, please do this research. Try to identify what is the market potential for that particular product or service. And then you need to do a competitor analysis. So who are your competitors? Are there any existing startups or companies already doing this kind of a product or solution? Yeah, is someone saying something? Okay. So how do you do this? So what you need to do is first identify your competitors. Sorry, sir. Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Is there any problem, sir? Because I'm
No.
okay. Sir. Yeah. So you need to first identify who are your competitors and then make a comparative analysis. So how are you different from the other competitors? How is your pricing? How is the quality of your product? What are the features? Are you giving the same features as your competitors, or you're having some other additional features you're offering? And then how fast is your solution? I mean, like, how adaptable is your solution? And then what is the customer service? So are you providing the customer service? And how is it different from what your competitors are doing? So at the end of the day, you need to identify your unique selling proposition or the differentiator if it is an existing product, if you have competitors. If there are no competitors, you have a patented product, excellent. You just have to do your TAM, SAM, and SOM, market potential research. So once you do this and then you identify that, yes, my product has a very good market and it can get into the market, I can commercialize this product. Once you get confidence on that, only then you please go to the next step, which is developing the product. So again, when we are trying to develop the product, we call something like design thinking process. Again, if you see here, empathy is something which is a starting point, because your problem identification, your idea generation, and your design thinking, in everything, empathy plays a major role. Because unless you yourself place in that effect of the problem, you're the one who is facing the effects, you cannot really come up with a better solution. So what we do is first empathize and then define. So design thinking process, define is you're defining your solution. This is not problem. You're defining your solution. Okay, I'm going to collect the plastics like this from these places. What would be the way I will collect them? And then where am I going to stock them? And what am I going to do with that? So recycle them. Recycle them into what? So you define all that. Okay, I'm going to convert them into tiles, footpath tiles. I'll combine it with something else and, I will come up with a tile. And then, what would be already there are people who are doing those tiles. So what could be my unique proposition here? So you define everything in steps. And then you go to the next level, that is build your prototype. Ideate means you'll have to create your technical specifications. So my product is going to be like this. This would be the chemical composition. This would be the tensile strength. This would be this. So everything you'll have to put it up and then develop the prototype. And while doing the prototype, you may not always hit the right product at the first time. So if you are facing any difficulty, then you get back to your ideation. Okay, my tile is not very strong. If I stand on it, it is crumbling. So what should I add to it to make it more strong? So again, you get back to the ideation board. You add some other component into it. And then again do the prototype. And then if you're satisfied with the prototype you have developed, go for the testing. And again, when you're testing, you might again have certain learnings. And depending on these learnings, either you have to go back to your definition or you can get back just to the ideation. So it all depends on the product which you're developing and the outcome which you're expecting. So this process again for developing a product is very, very important. After developing this, what would you do? You create a business plan. So for creating a business plan, first would be your mission statement. What is it I want to do? What is my long-term goal? And then how do you plan your operations? And how am I going to create my company? So this is going to be my core team, or this is going to be, sorry. So this would be my team. And then I will describe, okay, these are the products which I am getting into the market with. And then how am I getting into the market? You need to have a clear-cut marketing plan and a strategy. So marketing plan, what does it have? What does it ask for? So first you need to identify who would be your right customers. Identifying your customers, and then market strategy would be like, how would you get to these customers? What is the way I can talk to a customer? How can I, go and start a dialogue with them? Or how can I reach out to them? Whether it is through social media or I go personally and do a cold calling, how would I do this? And then you do a SWOT analysis. In fact, I think most of you would know what is SWOT analysis. Strength, weakness. Yeah. Yes. What is O? Someone is saying something? Okay. So strengths, weaknesses, opportunity, and threat. So what is the strength of my product? In fact, I would suggest this SWOT analysis should be done at every step of your, business planning or journey, your entrepreneurial journey. First of all, you do a SWOT analysis of yourself as an entrepreneur. What are my strengths? What are my weaknesses? What are the opportunities? And what are the threats I have? So when we talk about ourselves, the opportunities would be like, how can I utilize my strengths to do a business, to have a startup? And the threats would be like, what is actually, I'm lacking. See, I'm a technocrat. Let me talk about myself. So I'm a technocrat. And when we started our company, the biggest threat I had for myself was I'm not good at financial statements. I don't know how to do a financial planning. So that was my threat because that was my weakness. Your weakness only leads to your threats. So that is where, when I am forming a team, I should try to complement someone my strengths. So I'm weak in financial thing. So I need a person who is good in finance. If I am weak in marketing, I need to have a team member who is very good in marketing. If I am not strong in product development, I need to have someone who has the potential to develop the product. right? And then when we are doing the ideation or design thinking, again, you need to think that, okay, when I'm designing this and I'm coming up with this kind of a product, so what are the strengths of my product? What are the weaknesses? And what are the opportunities my product has? In which areas, which sectors I can apply this product? And what are the threats? Who else can come and hit me? Right. So not just the competitors, even if the product is good and it is having a good market potential, any bigger business company can just come and copy my idea and get into the market easily because they are financially and team wise everywhere they're very, very strong. My only strength is that innovation and the technology which I'm putting into it, which is my IP. So this is why IP is very important. We need to, if we are coming up with a very innovative product, immediate thing we need to do is first take the patents for that product. Next is financial planning. So how I am going to start my company? So what is required? How much of money would I require to develop the product? How much money would I require to produce the product? How much money would I require to market the product? So because you need to hire a person, you need to go travel and meet the people. So there's a marketing cost, and then there is an operational expenses. So you need an office to sit, you need you need to pay to your team members. So all this kind of financial planning, what is required? And if I think that, if you come up with the financial planning and I feel that, okay, I need at least some 50 lakhs to start this company. Where am I going to get this fund from? Do I have that kind of amount? So if I don't have 50 lakhs, and if I'm having co-founders and all of us put together, we are able to raise some 50 lakhs, bootstrapping within the partners, then okay, I can start and create a product. Then for scaling up, maybe I would require some funds. So this planning you need to do. So financial planning, again, this business plan should not be for next 6 months. It should definitely be for next minimum 3 years. Where we are today, what we are going to do next month, within 6 months, our product will be ready. And then within 8 months, I'm going to sell my product in so many places. This would be my revenue. And how I'm going to again use my revenue. And next year, how I'm going to scale up. Coming next year, how I'm going to scale up. How I'm going to increase my revenues. How am I going to infuse the funds inside. So all these things we need to plan. So business plan is a very, very important aspect once you decide on your product. So what are the supports we are getting from the government? So today we see that, startups are being offered a lot of support from the central government and the state governments. Why we are doing this? Because, see, today if you see, many of the products are being imported. So our semiconductors, we don't have any manufacturing. That is why today we are seeing that government is pushing on creating semiconductor manufacturing industries in the country. Because as of now, we are still importing all the chipsets and everything from outside. And defense, many products we are importing because we don't have. Many of the agricultural, equipment we are importing. So all these things for us to strengthen and grow economically, for the economical growth of our country, we need to have in-house make in India products and solutions. So this is why the government is trying to come up with so many schemes and, be it financial or supportive schemes to support the startups. Innovation is the in thing today for all of us to grow, for our country to become one of the developed countries, to be on top of the world. So if you look at the kinds of support which the government is giving and the different organizations and schemes, first would be the Atal Innovation Mission. So Atal Innovation Mission is a part of Niti Aayog. It's an innovation initiative by Niti Aayog, and they are creating Atal incubation centers and Atal community incubation centers. Atal incubation centers are like incubation centers which are created with the infrastructure and team to support the startups, to identify, support, and nurture the startups. So ACIC is also a similar thing, but this is planned in tier 2, tier 3 places where most of the incubation centers, if you see today, for example, if you take Odisha, most of the incubation centers are in Bhubaneswar, in and around. Or wherever we have some marquee institutions like, NIT Rourkela, right? So Dhenkanal we don't have. They're trying to create one. So very, very few areas we're having outside of Bhubaneswar or Cuttack where the incubators are present. But for the innovation and the startups to grow, we need these incubation centers to be set up in tier 2 and tier 3 centers also. So that is where Atal community incubation centers are being set up in these areas. And the Atal Innovation Mission supports them with a grant of 5 crore rupees to create the infrastructure, and also for the operational expenses put together. This 5 crore is in for a period of 5 years. So in a period of 5 years, you should become self-sustainable. And Startup India, it has a Startup India Seed Fund, SASFS, where it is identifying the incubators who are present here and who are doing a good job, and then giving this fund to them to identify and distribute to the startups. So SASFS has a small portion of it as a grant, and major portion of it is given as a debt or a convertible debentures, whatever the incubator feels comfortable with, but it has to be repaid. And SRF is something which is called as a state ranking framework. So if you look at it, so here, if you see, I said, the central government and the state governments have the schemes. So state startup missions. So all the states and the UTs also have state startup missions. For example, the Startup Odisha, which is here in Bhubaneswar, which is an initiative of the MSME department of Government of Odisha. Similarly, we have T-Hub in Hyderabad, and we have AP Innovation Society in Andhra, like that. So every state has its own startup support system. So Startup Ranking Framework is created by Startup India to identify these states, what kind of schemes and funding they are doing, and how they are supporting the startups, and then give the ranking to the states, who is doing best, who is a top performer, like that. And again, Ministry of Electronics and IT, they support the startups in the electronics and IT domain, technology domain. Similarly, DST also supports in the science and technology domain. So these two departments, central government, they have schemes for funding, which are called Nidhi EIR, MeitY EIR. And then they have this, Nidhi Prayas and MeitY, they have a type 2. So here, these are all grants. So they give 4 lakh grant and, 7 or 9 lakh grant. And there is a scale-up grant which is given by MeitY, which is up to 40 lakhs for once you're into the market and then you're looking to scale up your product, scale up your revenues. Similarly, BIRAC is Biotechnology Industrial Research Assistance Council, which supports the biotechnology and life sciences. So they have something called as a big grant, which is up to 50 lakh grant. And MSME, you all know, Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises. So MSME centrally, they are now conducting hackathons every year. And something called business incubators, which are identified again, registered with MSME, they are eligible to participate in this. And if you have a good innovative idea, you can submit it here in MSME hackathon, and they give up to 15 lakhs of grant. And now this scheme is running. The hackathon is open now till 31st of this month. So if you have any good ideas, you can always submit at this hackathon. And the state startup missions, I already have explained. So what they do is they come up with a policy, and then they create the ecosystem. They support the incubators in the state and also the startups in the state. And most of the higher educational institutions have something called as entrepreneurship cells or institution innovation cells. And nowadays, I think AICTE has made it mandatory for having one of these things, either entrepreneurship development cell or a e-cell or IIC within your campus to support the student innovations. So what do these incubators do? What kind of support do they provide? So they provide mentoring, because if I have an idea, but I don't know how to convert that idea into a product, or which could be the right market for me, I don't know how to do a business, and I don't know how to really plan my finances. So wherever you require some support, this mentoring helps you. All those incubators, even OHUB, keeps conducting these mentoring sessions. It could be online or offline, and they provide this support. So you can always look and identify who is the right mentor for you, and then take the mentorship from them. And funding. So there are, as I explained, the central government schemes. Similarly, state governments also have different fundings. For example, Startup Odisha, it has 3 different types of grants. One is a monthly allowance grant, which is given for startups at the early stages, and it is like 20,000 per month for one year. And you have this product development and marketing assistance, which is up to 15 lakhs. And so this is given if you are doing a product development, or if you have a product and you're trying to enter into the market. And there is a need-based assistance, which there is no upper cap for this, but it should be a very specialized deep tech or life sciences or any kind of long research oriented product or a solution which you are trying to create. And there is some very specific need of raw materials which are not available very easily, and they are very costly. In that case, you can apply for the need-based assistance. And the other thing is co-working space. See, when we try to start a company, the first thing is, where do we sit and do this office work? I have a team of 4 members. So where can I sit? So previously it used to be like, they used to emerge from the garage, they say. In fact, when we started, we used to we were banking with Axis Bank. So we were, sitting in their meeting room. We requested them for the first 1 month till we found another small place for ourselves. So this is how, we always face a problem in finding a co-working space. So these incubators provide you the co-working space at a subsidized price. So OHUB again provides you an excellent infrastructure for co-working space at a very, very subsidized price. IP facilitation. As I mentioned, when you have a very innovative product, it is suggested that you go for patenting. And this facilitation is also done by, there are certain, NRDC is there, which is sitting in OHUB, and they provide this IP facilitation. And there is a reimbursement which is being given by the Department of Industry and MSME and all. So you can claim that. And the most important thing is networking. So as a startup, you would have many challenges, and you want to discuss with your founders, or some entrepreneur who is traveling like you, maybe in a different product, but still. So that is one thing. Peer-to-peer communication you can have. There'll be like many funding events, the investor connects which we do, mentoring connects which they do. So all these will be very useful for you in developing your network, and networking is very important for your growth. So this is how the government and the private incubators are supporting the startups. So this is the right time and right place for you all to come up with good ideas and then start your entrepreneurial journey. So as the great APJ Abdul Kalam sir said, innovation is the key to progress. The more we innovate, the more we progress. So for progressing our country and for our own self-progress, let us all go ahead and make ourselves employers than being employees. Thank you so much. If you have any questions.
Thank you so much, ma'am. It was a panoptic discussion, starting from the different phases of divergent thinking and problem-solving behavior to how to go for incubation and entrepreneurship. So different phases of entrepreneurship and how to become an entrepreneurship. And I am quite optimistic that our participants, including our learners, have benefited a lot. And I hope that they will make use of this learning in the future days and in the future years. So thank you so much, ma'am. May I now open the house for discussion, and I will request the esteemed participants to kindly introduce themselves before going for the question. And the floor rule is that if somebody else is asking some query, we will keep ourselves waiting, and we'll allow the other person to ask his or her question. And another floor rule is that we won't repeat a question and we won't ask anything only for the sake of asking. So with these floor rules, I request the esteemed participants to kindly take part in the discussion. Thank you. So should we assume that you comprehended everything and there is nothing left to clarify? But that won't be a kind of problem-solving behavior, because an entrepreneur always has problems. So you must have problems, and you must give us a chance to help you get rid of your problems.
So either it could be one of the things, sir, either they understood totally or totally did not understand anything.
No, they understood, but they may be shy to ask the query. So thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you very much.
I am optimistic that our students have acquired the knowledge that an entrepreneur should have. And I am also optimistic that they will make use of it in the coming days. Thank you so much, and we look forward to meeting you again. I request my colleague, Dr. Santosh Paningrai, Additional Director, sir, to kindly deliver the vote of thanks. Paningrai, sir, over to you.
Thank you. Thank you, Vimal sir. Thank you very much to our resource person, Jansi ma'am. I am really thankful to you, ma'am, on behalf of Regional Center, on behalf of IGNOU Bhubaneswar, and also on behalf of the headquarters, New Delhi. We are really very much happy for that. Within short notice, ma'am has vast experience. Ma'am is working in a startup setup. So I saw her profile. Definitely, she is an experienced person in this field. So with today's interaction, our learners immensely benefited. So our motto to just, share the knowledge of different resource person to our learners, because they are working in this field. So we just want to expose our students how they can do the good work in the startup, and the innovation and entrepreneurs field. So thank you very much, ma'am. So with the short notice, you accepted our invitation and you delivered a excellent I'm in lecturing today. So definitely immensely our learners have benefit out of that. So thank you very much, ma'am, once again. And also I extend my thanks to our senior director, Dr. M.K. Das, and my dear colleague, Dr. V.C. Nanda, and my colleague, Dr. P.K. Jena, and all the participants. Once again, I extend my heartfelt thanks to all of you. Thank you very much. So once again, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.